So, obviously, we know Jim Knowles has officially left the Ohio State football program in favor for a Big Ten rival in Penn State. The report was on Friday that Ohio State had offered Knowles a deal to be the highest paid defensive coordinator. Not even defensive coordinators, offensive or defensive coordinator in college football.
Right.
And then he turned that down and eventually took a deal with Penn State to still be the highest paid defensive coordinator. Just Penn State went ahead and upped the ante. So what do you think of the move? Where do you think Ohio State goes from here? Just give me all your thoughts.
Well, so I talked about it on a video the other day, and I wasn't overly shocked that he left. I was more so shocked of where he went. You see the reports out there about, when we first saw it, when they said Ohio State was willing to make him the highest paid DC, one of the highest paid coordinators in general.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I was thinking, okay, Wink has 2.5 at the most. So I was kind of ranging around that number. And then it comes out that Penn State offered him 3.1 and we offered him 2.65.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people want to make it about, that he's from Philadelphia. But I mean, listen, guys, Philadelphia is a few hours away from Happy Valley. So I don't think it had anything to do with
it's not particularly close.
Yeah, like if someone told me, "Hey, Garrison, aren't you going home?" Yeah, you're going back to Sheboygan. No, I'm 4 hours away from there. Yeah. So that was that. Then immediately my mind thought, okay, well, who do we go for next? Yeah, but it's not overly shocking. I wish we still had him because he's that damn good.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he was great coordinator. Obviously, I think the main reason why Ohio State had, they was leading the country in all those stats. Total yards per game, opponent points allowed per game, passing yards per game, and obviously it would have been nice to keep him. But, and quite frankly, this stems from the infighting between him and Larry Johnson, and the fact that it took a loss against Oregon when they gave up 32 points for Knowles to finally be like, hey, guess what? What he's doing is not working. I know how things work. Let me run the defense.
Right.
So I do think that is a bit of a failure on Ryan Day's part to not have had that handled sooner and cleaner. But, at the same time, I can't be – look, they just won a national title. If he wants to go pursue other opportunities, sure, you gave us a ring. I'm okay with that. Kind of like with the Tony Alford situation. I wish it wasn't to another Big Ten school. Obviously, it's not quite to that level because he went to Michigan, and now Knowles is at Penn State. So, I just if it would have been better had it been out of the conference. And quite frankly, if Penn State's willing to spend $3.1 million on a defensive coordinator, that's fine. That just leaves less money for their roster. And Ohio State was very cognizant of that. They did not want to overspend for someone in that position.
No, like I want to show you this. I showed this on the show the other day, but just to put into context how much he's getting paid here. I mean, you look at this is for the NFL, the top highest paid defensive coordinators. He's right up there. Like this will put him fourth. I mean, it's a high ticket. I mean, I guess that's what they're willing to pay him. But I mean, and for those that are getting upset about Ohio State not going and saying why wouldn't they offer him more? Well, I mean, guys, he just signed the extension. Like,
not just that, and also we heard at the celebration, Ross Bjork said, Ryan Day's going to be the coach here for a long time. Like, he was basically telling the crowd, we're giving him an extension, and he's probably going to be one of the top paid head coaches in college football. So they got to have that money for him too.
Now, I was curious, like, did you see? I don't know if it's true or not, if it's them, but someone posted a Facebook message. Did you see that? A DM.
I saw it. And that was something that was floating around our chat. And she has had stuff to say all year. So, Do I think it's all true? I mean, I think most of it probably is, but I don't know that. Like, look, if they knew that he was going to take the job already, it doesn't make sense for him to beat the celebration. Quite frankly, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I just when I read it, my first thought was, okay, well, there's a lot of things that I think would prove some of this untrue. I mean, shoot, man, look right here. If I can read it on here, she
What
said
I
a
don't
lot.
believe is where it was 10:30 at
Mhm.
night. All of a sudden, he was going to be locked out of
No,
the building immediately, like holding him hostage. I do not believe that.
no, and now, and do I believe they said he can't come if he can't come? No, well, like it just doesn't that doesn't make any sense to me.
That I might believe a little bit, just
You think
because it would
so?
be a bit of a distraction. But at the same time, everything that we'd heard before, like even when these rumors,
Mhm.
they said they wanted nothing was going to come out until after the celebration. So that tells me, both he and Ohio State were on the same page as far as not wanting to like screw things up the celebration. So I don't know. That one I think is probably up in the air as far as what I believe. But I mean, obviously the numbers prove to be
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's saying. I don't think that's what like neither Ryan or I are saying. We're saying it is a failure to not have been more proactive about this.
Correct. Let's
It's,
be clear. Ryan Day's not a
yeah.
failure, but this was a failure on his watch as far as
Mhm.
not letting his defensive coordinator kind of run the show and letting Larry Johnson, who's should be in retiring age,
Yeah.
win that power struggle.
And yeah, Gary, he was under contract. Just get put
That's
more
how
money
it
in his
all
pocket
works.
last year. And, and I'm not. People are upset about it, but I'm not. As I said earlier, um, the truth of the matter is we're gonna go do it to somebody else's team. That's
Well,
what's
maybe,
true.
and that's
Yeah,
kind of where I want to move
maybe.
next
Yeah.
is who Ohio State could possibly end up getting now that Knowles is gone, and it looks
Hmm.
like the top candidate, and part of the reason why they were okay with letting Knowles go is Matt Guerrieri. He is a safeties coach. He
Yep.
is seen by the staff as a rising star. On defense, he's young. He's 35. He's already co-coordinated 2 defenses.
Hmm.
So they wanted to keep him on staff, and it was what I heard is it was either him or Knowles, and they wanted to keep him because Knowles had already voiced his displeasure at several things.
Yeah.
So that's most likely the guy who they hire, but there are some other candidates out there. I'm partial to Jim Leonard. I thought he did a really good job with Wisconsin with far less talent than Ohio State
Hmm.
had. I mean, their defenses were, the top 10 every single year, and they were doing it with, 3-star kids, the occasional 4-star. So that's who I would pick. And there's also a rumor thrown out there, if they could get Phil Parker, by all means, grab Phil Parker as well. But I
Yeah.
still think the most likely scenario is Guerrieri. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if I want an in-house hire. That's it's something that I've usually like this. I prefer our coaching staff stays away from.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say with Bill Curley, but I saw someone posted some coach they should look at. I saw someone say Coach Chelsea's brother. No, I mean he stood on the Michigan State staff way too long for Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, someone mentioned Jim Haycock, who's at Iowa State now. I don't think
now I think this is a pipe dream. Some people have said this name, Jeff Hafley. Man, if you can make it happen,
Well,
I mean, it's a blank check situation.
To that list that you pulled up about some of the coordinators, who wasn't on that list was Hafley. He's making, I think I saw it was 1.2, which is far less than what they were going to get ready to give Knowles. So,
right.
Hafley,
and they'll happily double what he's being paid right now.
Yeah. And Hafley, he was only with Ohio State for a year, but that was a damn good year back in 2019. And he clearly doesn't want to be a college head coach. I mean, that's the whole reason he left for the Packers. He left Boston College because he was tired to deal with all that bullshit that you got to deal with as a college head coach with NIL, players, tampering, all that crap. He just wanted to coach football. If he comes in, he'd be able to coach football as a DC, and he'd be paid handsomely for it. So I would be also perfectly fine with that hire.
Now this is a name that I haven't seen anyone else throw out there. This is something that I would be very happy with if we were to entertain this. Dan Lin. Like, throwing pride aside, man, I'm a big fan of that defense they run that Raven system. I really am. It works. It's now he his ran as well as what the team up north has ran over the last few years. No, but I mean, he doesn't have the players. When he was at UCLA, they did better than the year prior to that. I think they only gave up about 8. I think it was 80 rushing yards a game. Now at USC, yeah, it was a defense. Would you still want more from the defense? Yes, but the defense was better this season from USC than it was last couple prior years. So I think he's one of those guys. If you get some better talent around his system, they would do very well. I think we have the players to run that. That was basically a 3-4 system. Yeah. So that's a name hasn't been out there, but I would be okay with.
That's an interesting name for sure.
I saw some people say Luke Fickell. And
no, those people aren't serious people.
Yeah, you can't be. I saw that. I said they couldn't be serious, right? Not Luke. He wouldn't do that. So I mean, Jim Leonard though that's something I'd be very happy with.
Yeah, I like Leonard just because he obviously knows the recruiting area very well in the Midwest. having been in Wisconsin for as long as he was, he put up good numbers even with some bad talent. So I think he would be a good hire. This is downsitting the portal ridiculous? Yes, it is. Let's be very clear that is not happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just gonna put that out right now. No.
Yeah.
You were gonna pull this comment up here.
I was like putting the comments up here.
That's my also thought. Again, I don't like. There's some Ohio State fans out there now who are just saying, they sound like they hate him. I don't hate him. Like he just got us a natty. Like he just had one of the best defenses we've had in, the last.
This is the second best defense I've seen after 2019. In my lifetime.
I understand going to Penn State's not cool, but he wants to go do that. Apparently, his woman wasn't enough for him to go down to Oklahoma. So
3.1 was
sure. Yeah. So best of luck to him, and I still don't think that means that they're going to be able to beat Ohio State because their offense is still sneaky. They still have no wide receivers. So as far as like the defensive coordinator hiring goes, that's where I think, and I think you were kind of on the bandwagon with that. An external hire, I think I would be more excited about. I know, and I heard some people have flown out James Laurinaitis. He's simply not ready for that. This is really only it's only his second year as a full-time head coach. Really, I mean, he coached at Notre Dame, then he was a GA here. He wasn't even a full-time paid assistant here until this year. So, I mean, maybe in a couple years he'd be ready, but not right now. He's not quite ready yet.